accounts. The bank accounts are expected to show that over 2 billion pesos were transacted across joint accounts during her incumbency. Joint accounts with the father, with her husband, and the joint account of the Duterte family. Culpable violation of the Constitution. Kapag ipagpapalagay ang totoo ang mga alegasyong ito, ang mga ari-arian na hindi tugma at malayo sa legal na kita ng opisyal ay maituturing ng may presumption and of lawful acquisition.
Flores.
Madam Chair, siguro for us to show na may connection po, shouldn't there be like allegations also that the SALN that she submitted while she was Vice President can be linked to the siguro non-disclosures in the SALNs when she was Vice Mayor? Kasi you're saying that we should show pattern, scheme, or ano, res inter rels acta ba yun na rule or something, na para may pakita natin na may pattern. Pero for me po, for us to avoid being siguro masabit tayo sa contravening the decisions of the Supreme Court,
her properties and interests in properties in her SALN. We must remember that the Constitution says impeachment of the Vice President. And the Supreme Court ruled in Duterte versus House that those acts complained of for impeachment purposes should be acts committed at the time that he's holding that impeachable office. So therefore, paragraph 107, VP Sara served as Vice Mayor of Davao City between 2007 2010, then served as Mayor 2010 to 2022. Clearly, this is not within the Vice Presidency of Sara Duterte. So this allegation does not give substance to an offense committed by the Vice President. 108 is a listing of SALNs, which are from 2007, 2017. The Vice President started to discharge her functions as Vice President in 2022. So clearly, 108 does not give substance to the offense charged. And lastly, there are only 3 paragraphs here in the statement of facts. Nothing, no recital of facts.
For the record, the honorable members, the chair
25,
Flow of these transactions. And again, those are part of the records of the Quadcom committee hearings that can be taken judicial notice that can be taken cognizance of as part of the House's records. So ito po ang explanation kung bakit pwede pa kahit ang nakasaad lang, nakasabi lang ay tungkol doon sa accumulation of ill-gotten wealth not duly reflected or properly reflected in the SALNs nung siya ay mayor and vice mayor. Part of the issue of fitness of a public official.
Madam Chair.
Honorable De Lima, are you finished with your...
Yes, ma'am.
Please allow the chair to read. Vice President Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed public trust in amassing unexplained wealth and failing to disclose all her properties and interest in her SALN in violation of Section 17, Article 11 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. We shall now hear the manifestation of the endorser. Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there are allegations with respect, ultimate facts, essential facts, with respect to this 5th ground. Unexplained wealth and failure to disclose all her properties and interests in properties in her SALN. That is under paragraphs 107 to 109. When she served as Vice Mayor and Mayor of Davao City with an estimated annual salary of approximately 2 million, her declared net worth increased from 13,877,469 in 2007 to 44,828,759 in 2017, paragraph 108. It is further alleged that between 2006 and 2015, she had at least 111 million deposited in various banks in Davao City and Metro Manila, with reports suggesting even higher amounts. So the complaint pleads Section 2 of Republic Act 1379, establishing that property manifestly out of proportion to lawful income is presumed prima facie and lawfully acquired. Under paragraph 286, the complaint cites the case of heirs of Ligot versus Republic, pleading the elements required for the presumption to apply, that the properly manifesting out of proportion, a property or assets that are manifestly out of proportion to lawful income is presumed prima facie and lawfully acquired. The complaint pleads that all elements are present. If admitted as true, these facts implicate SALN obligations under Section 17, Article 11 of the Constitution and constitute betrayal of public trust. In relation to this ground, we will be asking in proper time during the evidentiary hearings or even before the evidentiary hearings via subpoena for the production of the SALNs of the VP all through the years from her incumbency as Vice Mayor, Mayor, and VP. Also, the bank accounts. The bank accounts are expected to show that over 2 billion pesos were transacted across joint accounts during her incumbency. Joint accounts with the father, with her husband, and the joint account of the Duterte family. Culpable violation of the Constitution. Kapag ipagpapalagay ang totoo ang mga alegasyong ito, ang mga ari-arian na hindi tugma at malayo sa legal na kita ng opisyal ay maituturing ng may presumption and of lawful acquisition. At kung ang mga ari-ariang ito ay hindi dineklara sa SALN, ito ay direktang paglabag sa Section 17, Article 11 ng Constitution. Ang SALN ay isang sinumpaang deklarasyon. On betrayal of public trust, ang SALN ang pangunahing instrumento kung saan sinusukat ang katapatan at pananagutan ng isang opisyal. An unexplained wealth, particularly when coupled with alleged non-disclosure in a sworn constitutional document, the SALN strikes directly at the integrity expected of high public office. It erodes confidence in the official's honesty. That is precisely the kind of conduct contemplated under betrayal of public trust. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Flores.
Madam Chair, may I know from the endorser if would these allegations not be in contravention with the Supreme Court resolution or decision in the case of Sara Duterte versus House of Representatives when it said that we should only be including allegations for impeachment for actions done while she is holding an impeachable office. From the statements kasi that were given, the SALN she was referring to was in 2007 to 2017, way before the Vice President, she became Vice President. No? Secondly po, na-mention din po ng endorser nung bank deposits, but these were just allegations. No? Walang sinabi na may proof na may bank deposits of this and that. No? Ang worry ko po dito is this might be compared with the previous, how we handled the previous complaint against the President Bongbong Marcos that we dismissed it because it did not sufficiently have any substance because it was also purely speculations and allegations. May we hear from the endorser on this matter, Madam Chair?
Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, it is true that in the Duterte versus House of Representatives case, the Supreme Court stated that the offenses to be impeachable must be committed during the incumbency of the impeachable official. We submit, however, that this does not mean that we cannot include acts that were committed prior to the incumbency of the official, here the Vice President. We can do that so long as we prove that, A, they are relevant to the charge that she also accumulated ill-gotten after she was elected as Vice President. based on Rule 128 of the Rules of Court, Sections 3 and 4. Evidence is admissible when it is relevant to the issue, as is not excluded by law or these rules. They are offered to prove. They will be offered to prove a system, scheme, habit, custom, or usage, and the like, based on Rule 128 of the Rules of Court, Section 35. Evidence, it says, Section 35, similar acts as evidence. Evidence that one did or did not do a certain thing at a time is not admissible to prove that he or she did not or did not do the same or similar thing at another time. But it may be received to prove a specific intent or knowledge, identity, plan, system, scheme, habit, custom, or usage, and the like. And this is what we will prove during the evidentiary stage. That the Vice President accumulated even more ill-gotten wealth after she was elected as Vice President, and that accumulating ill-gotten wealth is part of her system, scheme, habit, or custom as a public official. Also, presentation of the SALNs while she was still a mayor and vice mayor are relevant to show the contrast between her income and assets before and after she became vice president. And again, we're talking here about fitness of the respondent to continue holding office as a public official. So hindi po yan, yes, there is that Supreme Court ruling, pero hindi po ibig sabihin na hindi na natin pwedeng i-consider. As I mentioned earlier po, we intend to apply for subpoena for the production of these SALNs from her incumbency as mayor and vice mayor and all through her incumbency as vice president. Mga bank accounts din, ganun din po. We will ask for subpoena also from AMLAC, from the Office of the Ombudsman. And then para ho ma-prove, makita na yung pag-accumulate ng ill-gotten wealth which is grossly disproportionate to her lawful income ay nandyan, kasama yan sa kanyang pattern, kasama yan sa kanyang style or character as a public official. Again, we're talking here about fitness to remain in office as vice president related to previous acts as well as something or things that are continuing. Makikita po natin yan dun sa mga ipapasabpina ng mga dokumento as well as supported by testimonial evidence. Dati na rin po nag-testify noon former Senator Sonny Trillanes about the flow of these transactions. And again, those are part of the records of the Quadcom committee hearings that can be taken judicial notice that can be taken cognizance of as part of the House's records. So ito po ang explanation kung bakit pwede pa kahit ang nakasaad lang, nakasabi lang ay tungkol doon sa accumulation of ill-gotten wealth not duly reflected or properly reflected in the SALNs nung siya ay mayor and vice mayor. Part of the issue of fitness of a public official.
Madam Chair,
Honorable De Lima, are you finished with your
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Madam Chair.
manifestation? The Honorable Flores.
Madam Chair, siguro for us to show na may connection po, shouldn't there be like allegations also that the SALN that she submitted while she was Vice President can be linked to the siguro non-disclosures in the SALNs when she was Vice Mayor? Kasi you're saying that we should show pattern, scheme, or res inter rels acta ba yun na rule or something, na para may pakita natin na may pattern. Pero for me po, for us to avoid being siguro masabit tayo sa contravening the decisions of the Supreme Court, dapat clearly po natin mapakita na may connection yung alleged actions niya when she was Vice Mayor to actions as Vice President po. Second, again, we keep mentioning po the intention to apply for subpoenas, to check the bank records. So are we saying po na wala pa tayong ebidensya on these aspects? Kasi you mentioned you intend to apply pa lang po for these things.
Mga nabanggit
Honorable
na po yan sa
Nabanggit
mga
na.
dating mga hearings
By
sa Quadcom by the
Quadcom.
former Senator Antonio Trillanes. At he would be willing to execute an affidavit in that regard and also to testify before this committee. At meron din po tayong mga ipapaproduce sa AMLAC, sa Ombudsman, and sa bangko, yung mga sa bank accounts, the bank transactions of the Vice President, beginning when she was still Mayor, Vice Mayor, and all the way through her current incumbency as Vice President.
For the purpose of this fifth ground, Honorable De Lima, can you please share to the committee what so far are your evidence or attachments to the impeachment complaint? For the purpose of the fifth ground.
Wala tayong attachment. There are no attachments so far to this complaint because as I mentioned, the complainants will intend to prove this through those documents that will be the subject of the subpoena that we will request in due time.
Earlier, you made mention about former Senator Sonny Trillanes. And was this part or is this part of your allegation of facts in your impeachment complaint?
Yes, I believe so.
So there's a specific reference in the impeachment complaint with regards to the testimony of former Senator Sonny Trillanes during the hearing of the Good Government Committee.
We'll check, Madam Chair, but that is my
Yes,
recollection.
please. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Honorable Rodriguez.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
107.
The ground 4 is on page 95 of the complaint. And
We are on the fifth ground.
fifth ground is page 95, that the Vice President committed culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayed the public trust in amassing unexplained wealth and failing to disclose all her properties. Madam Chair, from paragraph 285 to 290 are conclusions of law citing the law itself, unexplained wealth, and also decisions of the Supreme Court. So let's go back to the statement of facts. The statement of facts, Madam Chair,
109.
is found on page 46. So this is entitled E, Facts in Relation to Vice President Sara's Unexplained Wealth and Failure to Disclose all her properties and interests in properties in her SALN. We must remember that the Constitution says impeachment of the Vice President. And the Supreme Court ruled in Duterte versus House that those acts complained of for impeachment purposes should be acts committed at the time that he's holding that impeachable office. So therefore, paragraph 107, VP Sara served as Vice Mayor of Davao City between 2007 2010, then served as Mayor 2010 to 2022. Clearly, this is not within the vice presidency of Sara Duterte. So this allegation does not give substance to an offense committed by the vice president. 108 is a listing of SALNs, which are from 2007, 2017. The vice president started to discharge her functions as vice president in 2022. So clearly, 108 does not give substance to the offense charged. And lastly, there are only 3 paragraphs here in the statement of facts. Nothing, no recital of facts in the grounds under page 95 to 96. So here, Number 109, more. Between 2006 and 2015, VP SAR had at least 111 million deposited in different banks in Davao City and Metro Manila. Again, nothing here pertains to the office of the Vice President, the acts of the Vice President of enriching herself as Vice President. Clearly, we cannot go to the future and say that in the future we can have, if there's a hearing, that they're going to fish for more evidence. Because we are deciding based on the recital of facts in the complaint. And it will never be taken up because they are not in the complaint. And the Vice President will be asked to answer those that are her own actuations and acts as Vice President. So clearly, Madam Chair, clearly, the ground for number 5 is totally devoid of any substance against the Vice President because all the acts stated, which is 107 to 109, pertains when she was Vice Mayor and Mayor. So this has to fail, Madam Chair.
Thank you. For the guidance of the members, the chair wishes to manifest that the 5th ground of the 3rd impeachment complaint actually speaks of 2 specific acts. One is amassing unexplained wealth, and the other is the failure to disclose in the SALN. So, in relation to the Supreme Court decision, there might be an issue with respect to the first act, but if the failure to disclose in the SALN continues even to the time that she is already the Vice President, I think this will make a difference. The Honorable Suntay.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. SALN violations require identification of specific undisclosed assets. The complaint does not identify any particular property or financial account which was omitted from the declaration. Without identifying the undisclosed assets, the allegation cannot establish falsity. We cannot also jump into a conclusion that what she owns is unexplained wealth without showing any proof. And as correctly pointed out by my 2 distinguished colleagues, the Vice Chairperson of this committee, Congressman Flores, and my esteemed former Dean of the College of San Sebastian Law School, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, actions to impeach the Vice President, it should be actions which is attributable to her during her term as Vice President. The non-declaration in her SALN in 2006 to 2015 clearly shows that these are SALNs when she was neither nor the Vice President, the sitting Vice President. Now, as also pointed out by our good colleague, Congresswoman Laila De Lima, wala pa silang proof. Papasupina pa lang. At the very most, this is a fishing expedition kung maghahanap pa lang tayo ng proof. Kung ang gagawin natin basihan, yung statements ni former Senator Sonny Trillanes, then it is chismis and at very best, hearsay. Because it was already happened before. So, clearly, on this ground, there is clearly no basis, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
I just wish to reiterate that earlier the endorser made mention of the allegations in the impeachment complaint that pertains to the testimony of former Senator Sonny Trillanes, which is contained in the transcript of record of the hearing of the Good Government Committee. That is for the record. The Honorable De Lima.
Yes, Madam Chair, we confirm that there is a reference to the former Senator Trillanes in the footnote under the allegation, factual allegation under paragraph 108.
Just for the record, Honorable De Lima, so is it correct to say that you are considering the transcript as evidence in support of the 5th ground?
Transcripts, because there was such a testimony. So it's not accurate to say that magkakaroon tayo ng fishing expedition because it was already mentioned in a previous testimony. And all we have to do is prove now, further prove it. Doon nga po, sasabi kong ipapasubmina po namin in due time, SALN's bank accounts, and also from AMLAC, information from AMLAC, and that would be within the province of this committee to so issue such subpoena. So continuing nga po, tama po si Madam Chair kanina, yung na aspect ng non-declaration in the SALN. As Vice President, pwede pong i-connect din yan all these years na hindi siya nagdi-disclose ng mga wealth na grossly disproportionate to her lawful income and other sources of income. So yun po ang balak ng complainants. So we cannot really strictly limit this, yung allegations, we cannot strictly limit this to her incumbency as mayor and vice mayor. Doon nagsimula. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin yan mga dinidisclose sa SALN. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just for clarity and for the guidance of the justice members, it appears that the evidence on which the fifth ground is anchored is the testimony of the former Senator Sonny Trillanes during the Good Government Committee hearing. So that is the transcript of records of the same hearing. The question, therefore, to the justice members is whether or not the transcript of the testimony of former senator will be sufficient for you to be satisfied in the determination of sufficiency in substance. The Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, we have to always look at the four corners of the complaint. And now, the endorser has cited footnote 98. Is that correct? Yes. If you will read footnote 98, it says, C. Trillanes accuses Duterte children of having 300 million in bank accounts. This is April 4, 2016, long before the vice president was elected and took office on June 30, 2022. So from all the four corners, nothing will justify. If he was trying to therefore say that there is another testimony, it should be stated here that in the hearings of the Quadcom, in the hearings of the Good Government. He said, but based on the face of this document, there is nothing that will show there is a recital of fact that the Vice President has committed illegal acquisition of wealth. There's even no allegation in this state of facts on illegal acquisition of wealth. This is all SALN. And so therefore, Madam Chair, we can see that there is really nothing in this ground 5 to proceed because there is no such recital of facts of substance constituting the offense on this particular allegation of amassing unexplained wealth and failing to disclose her properties. Nothing, Madam Chair.
Honorable De Lima, would you like to respond?
Again, Madam Chair, that even if there has been no definitive or explicit allegations within the four corners of the complaint about the unlawful acquisition of assets and property or wealth, unexplained wealth, with respect to her current incumbency as president. But as I said earlier, that it does not mean that we cannot include already acts. We cannot include acts that are attributed to her now that she is an incumbent vice president. And that it proves that yung pattern na yan na pag-acquire ng unexplained wealth at saka yung pagdi-disclose sa SALN is continues or it continues when she was or she is the vice president. And that is precisely what is going to be established doon po sa mga documents na mga hihingin namin via subpoena. It establishes the pattern, yung accumulate niya ng ill-gotten wealth or unexplained wealth, and it hinges precisely on the issue of her fitness to continue public office. Thank you.
All right, any
Madam
other?
Chair, just a quick
The Honorable
manifestation.
Nasal.
I believe that the fifth grounds for impeachment against VP Sara Duterte should not be included due to lack of merit. Due to, number one, insufficiency in evidence, allegations regarding bank transactions are speculative and fail to prove any illegal accumulation of wealth. And again, I agree with Vice Chair Keith Flores and my seatmate, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, that the timing of offenses, impeachable acts must occur during the current incumbency. These claims involve actions from 2007 to 2017. And on lack of relevance, there is no direct link between past actions and her current conduct or fitness for office. And also, on unsubstantiated claims, the burden of proof has not been met as the allegations ignore legitimate income and constitutional disclosure rules. Also, supporting records from previous hearings lack the necessary credibility and relevance to the current charges. So in conclusion, I believe that the fifth ground fails to meet the constitutional and legal standards required for impeachment and should be dismissed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Zamora.
Madam Chair, if we're talking about legal standards, I think that we can allege acts that were committed prior to the incumbency of the official, so long as we are able to show that they are relevant to the charge that she also accumulated ill-gotten wealth after she was elected as Vice President based on Rule 128 of the Rules of Court, which we may apply here, and also to prove, as stated by the Honorable Laila de Lima, that there is a system, scheme, or pattern, habit, custom, or usage, and the like, based on Rule 128 of the Rules of Court. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other member who wish to make a manifestation on the fifth ground? Would you like to wind up, Honorable de Lima, on the fifth ground?
Everything was said already. My insistence that it's not going to be a violation of any principle in terms of alleging causes of action, because again, it's just a continuation. It's a show. It's a manifestation of the pattern of the official being impeached or being charged for impeachable offense. And this committee has broader discretion and authority to look into any related matter to the very offense that the respondent is being charged of. We have such broad authority to further inquire beyond those alleged acts committed during her incumbency during previous positions that are related again to the very issue of accountability and fitness to hold or continue holding public office. Thank you.